Council, Monday, October 27th, 2025. Call the meeting is over at 4 p.m. Remind you to turn off your mobile devices for non-vibration, please. I have a motion here that the council hereby sets the agenda for Monday, October 27th, 2025, regular meeting of council circuit. Any addition or deletion to the agenda? Mover, seconder? Councilor Lewis, second, Councilor Reynolds. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any declaration of interest tonight? Hearing none. Call question in regards to the motion from the previous minutes of council, October the 14th, the regular full meeting of council are held. That's any errors or omissions to those minutes? Hearing none, Councilor, any mover, seconder? Councilor Julian, case. No. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Right on down to our student council reports. Councilor Michelle.
I'd like to provide a brief update on the athletes of Marathon High School. On October 16th, Marathon High School hosted Lake Superior High School for an exciting day of competitions. Our senior girls basketball team played a strong fight against their team, but fell short, making their season end. And then our senior boys basketball teams and junior boys basketball teams also competed, making them head over to NSSS semis, which then they are now today gone to Niprock High School to compete in the semis for NSSS. The junior boys participated in a round robin format, which they have not declared the winners of that yet. Our senior boys have made a spot into the NSSS finals, and the dates and location for those finals are still yet to be determined.
Good, thanks for that report. Councilor Kwan.
Good evening, Council. First, I'll talk about the volunteer opportunities for our students and some fun events that include youth. And then lastly, some schooling info. So first, I wanted to talk about the haunted walk that Pasito had, and it had a lot of a lot of students volunteered for it, so they got a decent amount in volunteer hours. They accepted donations, which went directly to the Ronald McDonald Charities. And if you don't know what this is, it supports families with ill or injured children by providing housing and/or resources. Then I wanted to talk about their Trick or Eat food drive support, which are currently looking for volunteers. So what they're going to do is they're going to go on Halloween night. It's going to be exactly like trick or treating, but asking for like unperishable foods instead of just treats. And they're asking for volunteers to do this. There is no set time, but that's all they ask is they're going to give you a set area of the town, and they'll just ask for you to go around house to house and ask for non-perishable foods. And for the grade 10s last week, they went on a trip to the Confederation College and Lakehead Exhibition in Thunder Bay on October 22nd. They had the opportunity to travel to Thunder Bay and visit those two colleges and schools to talk about post-secondary decisions and careers. And along with the grade 10s went a lot of students who were taking SHSM. Cambrian College will come to the Marathon High School on October 28th of Tuesday from 10:10 to 11:25 a.m. at the library during Block B. So if you're interested in Cambrian College, you can go to that. Confederation College will be Thursday, October 30th from 12:25 to 1:40, so Block C in the common area, because we are having picture day on the 30th, therefore it will take room in the library. And the Sioux College was today from 10:10 to 11:25 at the library. And there are some open houses. Confederation College is doing an open house in Thunder Bay for Thursday, November 13th at 5 to 8 p.m. in Thunder Bay. And Trent University is also having an open house this weekend on Saturday, November 1st at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Peterborough.
Great, thanks for the report. I had a question in regards to the community service hours that students have to do with the 40 hours. Is it still being completed pretty well on time throughout the community, do you find?
I find that within the first year, a lot of students don't get them done, but that's just because they haven't gone into high school yet. But within the years, I find that they get more and more opportunities and more volunteer hours. Because within the 4 years you're there, you get a lot of opportunities, whereas in like just the first year, if you want to do it on all 1 year, you don't have that much. So I'm
Good.
hoping that there was a lot of students there, so I'm
Good.
pretty sure they got a good amount.
So it's a good opportunity. We just thought before the meeting is to have people get a volunteer, and a lot of organizations are looking for volunteers, so it's a good
Yeah, especially
match.
with Barrick right now, I'm hoping a lot of other people do that.
Good, appreciate it. Thanks for your reports. Do we have any questions?
No, I'd just like to make a quick
Councilor Reynolds?
comment. I'd love to invite the student councilors to Confederation College North Shore campus to come do a quick tour, and we can do some promotion, show you guys the campus, and hopefully inspire some of your peers and your colleagues at Marathon High School to come check out the campus as well.
Is that in Thunder Bay as well?
No, that's here at Marathon. So I'll send you guys an email and we'll set up a time hopefully that works best for everyone and bring you guys in.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for that. Okay, I'm ready to motions for check runs. I got a check run, a motion here for accounts payable for the following registers from September 2025. Accounts payable in the amount of $1,817,861.83 and payroll in the amount of $202,925.01. Moved by Councilor Reynolds, second by Councilor Whitman. Any questions of those check runs? Hearing none, call question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. I had a quick verbal report on the attendance at the Healthy Democracy Forum I attended in Toronto last weekend. This is a really big drive from AMO now to get information out to the public about the upcoming municipal election in 2026, but also a lot more about diversification and reflection of communities that the municipalities are trying to attract, get back into council, and the fact that we're also getting a lot of attacks on council members throughout the province of Ontario, probably for Canada for that matter, in regards to social media attacks and misunderstanding, misinformation, fake news, and it's becoming harder and harder to attract. And there's a lot more acclamations, even in the last 2 elections, have been a lot more acclamations than has been done in the past. And that's throughout the province of Ontario, all 444 municipalities. So AMO has put together a budget of $1 million to promote the healthy democracy over the next 16 or so months before the election, or not even actually, now it's 12 months. It started last year, but they've been really ramping it up. So this was about 185 people that attended this healthy forum, this for Healthy Democracy Forum in Toronto, and it was just about to get out the vote programs, turn out. We had a panel there for discussing around the turning it up and turnout, get people out to vote because the voter apathy is really low in Ontario. Indigenous outreach, civic inclusion is a lot of the Indigenous people that live in our communities that don't participate in municipal voting or even participate in municipal elections for that matter, putting their names forward. So we're trying to encourage that. They're part of the community, but they don't feel that they are. So that was a good forum discussing around that. Public affairs campaign strategy, also a discussion about individuals who are going to run for municipal governments, how they would reflect on their getting their information out there and their public awareness. Fireside chat, we had conversation with a couple of key experts on talking about the operations of both Black Canadians as well as Indigenous Canadians. That was a really good and insightful panel. Of course, closed off for the remaining of that day. These were 2 full days of panels and discussions, breakout sessions. The following morning, we had the opportunity to hear from the Mayor of Gatineau, who had resigned because of council's, and it was Quebec, obviously a little different than Ontario, but in Ontario, the government's looking at putting legislation actually this week to change over the code of conduct behavior for council members and council chambers between either staff and council members. She resigned in 2023 from her council, and she was able to sue the municipality and successfully win a settlement because of the harassment she received from fellow councillors. And it was all documented. She documented everything over the 3 years, but she ran, has never been in politics, ran. She was overwhelmingly voted into council from the public. The public was really supportive of her, but her council members didn't like her role, and so they voted everything against her and really give her a hard time. You know, the whole silent treatment, moving out of the room when she came into her, like everything was crazy. So she documented suit, and she talked about that for an hour. And then we also had Marianne Mead Ward, who was the mayor of Burlington, talk about her impact, the same thing, same scenario, and yet we know that some of the highlights we see on TV with the municipality of Pickering, when we had the really radical councillor creating havoc in council. Every meeting, the meetings were just disrupted by this individual council member. So the code of conduct only allowed them to isolate her for up to 3 months at a time. But now the new rules will come in that there'll be an opportunity for council members to remove council members from council, period, and go back into a by-election into the committee or whatever, like we did. We had the interview process, right? But council has an opportunity now to remove a really bad councillor or mayor. Even though the strong mayor powers are there, it will have an impact. Hopefully, we haven't seen the final legislative process, but we believe it's going to be beneficial. That AIM will push forward for it. And then talked about journalism and social media and public sphere. Well, we're one of the few communities that still has a little rag. The Marathon Mercury, we have CFNO is always out talking to us. But in a lot of municipalities, there's no more papers, there's no more journalism, very few people come to a council meeting to get information from councils. So it's just the information you put out is from your own municipality through web pages, and we got to get better at that, putting information out for people and getting people to look at municipal websites to understand what councils do, because as you can see, we're televised. So I don't know what the audience is out there, but if it's only 10 or 20 people, you're not really getting to the municipality. We're a small community, so if you're bigger, it's not the same. So they're trying to work on that, get more information on how we can get that better prepared for municipalities. And then we talked about the solutions and workshops around civic literacy, support, protection of municipal staff, politicians, media information, ecosystems, council, culture, and leadership development, and systemic levers, provincial roles, oversight tools that municipal governments have. So AMO's putting the money in. They really want to get the information out. They're going to get more out there in regards to this information, of course, to be provided over the next 12 or 14 months. So great couple of days there, great learning sessions. I took part in. Anybody have any questions on that? Councilor Juliana?
Was there any information or feedback given around gender? Like I noticed both the two people who were harassed were women, and I'm constantly aware that we don't elect women to our council very often.
Right.
And I wonder how that plays out.
Absolutely. Documentation was proven that through one of these panels that women get harassed 4 times more than male counterparts in the same role, so whether it's a mayor or a councillor. And that's why they're not seeing women line up to get into municipal politics, because of that very thing. And yet we're trying to change that, but I'll be fair, they use the old boys club scenario, right? That's from the 50s, 60s going through. So we're trying to, through Amos Education, is trying to diversify councils for gender and for race within the communities, and more reflective of the community that you represent. We're not as multicultural in the Marathon, but in the center where they're multicultural, there's a representation on the councils. So we're trying to get that. And we've had women run in Marathon, obviously. We've had women sit on our councils, but I try to always encourage more people to run, like even for mayor, run the council. We've had pretty good turnout over the years, but there are municipalities that they have acclamation sometimes with the whole councils. And that's not a good democracy. That's what AIM was trying to change. And so it was very good, and a lot of insight of things are changing in municipal politics. And it's not, none of us are here for the money, I can tell you that, because in every case, other than a full-time mayor councillors, which is very few in the province of Ontario, are as a full-time job. Most of us are just getting volunteer wages for the amount of harassment that sometimes comes with a job. It's not really something that's attractive to anybody, a youth or a person of color or a gender person coming in and saying, what do I want to do that for when I'm getting paid, $10,000 or $15,000 a year to get harassed everywhere I go? I can't even go shopping in the store in the middle of the day because I'm going to get harassed by public. And so that's why it's not an attractive thing to do for a lot of people. So there's a bunch of things that AIM is going to prepare to change, including looking at how the compensation package looks for municipal governments and all that thing. So hopefully we'll have a good report out of that over this session.
Maybe they'll have some ideas about how to promote it locally for our election next fall.
Oh yeah, they're welcome on this for sure. There'll be a good report. There'll be a good opportunity to share that with the public and have more people maybe think about running for municipal government. Okay, anything else? That was good. It was a good program. I enjoyed attending it. Councilor Brown says an update on the local chamber meetings.
Perfect. Yeah. So tomorrow, the next meeting is being held Wednesday, October 29th at 6 p.m. The meeting will be held at the Boardroom Computer Lab at Confederation College North Shore Campus, which is located adjacent to Canadian Tire and just a couple doors down from Crossover. Primarily, the big discussion piece that's going to be happening with this meeting this month will be around the closure of Scotia Bank. So I'm sure it will be well attended, and there'll be a strong conversation around that. So yeah, anyone looking to attend this Wednesday, October 29th, 6 p.m., Confederation College, North Shore Campus, and we hope to see you all there.
Thank you for that. Anybody have any questions, Councilor Knox? So I did have a couple of interviews with the media on the Scotiabank closure, and I also talked to the Executive Vice President of Northern Ontario for Scotiabank. So we'll continue that dialogue. I'll bring some information through the CEO, Mrs. Korchinski. I think Red Lake reached out to me and asked me if we could do a joint media release maybe sometime this week. I think their bank is also going to be closed. So it was very clear to me that she said that the bank will not be changing its opinion. The bank will be closed in May of 2026.
That's Scotiabank for Red Lake as well?
Yep.
Okay.
So there might be opportunities for education. She did identify, so we'll communicate back and forth. Education for seniors in our community for utilization of online banking. The biggest thing was the debit card scenario. Like, if you lose your debit card, you got to go like either Thunderbit to get it instantly or wait 10 to 14 days to get a debit card. That's not acceptable. So is there a system that we can figure that out? The bank's closing. We can't change it. The only we can do maybe is opportunity to lobby another financial institution to see if there's an opportunity to come here. We'll have that discussion and see if there's something to work together, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and your worship, I know you're aware, but I spoke to Patty Hyde too, just regarding kind of there was any assistance or what that looked like, and she was very straightforward. Terrace Bay just lost their BMO. They just kind of went down this path with that community a couple months back. There is no kind of overreach that the federal government has within banking because it's a private business, but that piece being what can we do to attract someone else, and it was kind of what the conversation kind of was around and stuff like that. But yeah, we reached out to Patty Hyde, and there's not too much that the federal government can do when it comes to banking. So
yeah, the only regulation we found in the Banking Act for the federal government was they have to give notification of 6 months. That's it. So they give the notifications for 6 months. It's a shame because if I looked and I did the stories with CBC, I looked at the banking. So Scotia made $7.25 billion in 24. CNIB made $7 billion. TD made $42 billion in 2024. And the Bank of Montreal, I think, made $7.3 billion. So they're all in the $7 billion range, and the TD $42 billion. That's a lot of money. That's net profit, net income. So that's pretty good coin, And yet they're closing branches everywhere because they want. And I understand we all listen. All of us are moving that way, but we're not all there. And there's still a big thing around the business community and our community through the chamber is going to be about deploying the change. I know some stores right now still are using Guardia World service or that type of service. There might be more of that going on, but that's a cost to those business community members. So maybe the chamber can identify something like that. How does that work? And we need to look at how we make maybe in the next week or two is how we make a pitch to get maybe another financial institution come to our community, set up business. Councilor LaPointe?
Is there a specific reason that the bank is closing? Is it like funds or anything, or is it staff?
There's a combination of staff. That was the discussion I had also with the regional vice president, but it's also about the shareholder value. So if you read the statement that was issued October 17th, the CEO, the president of the Scotiabank said they were focusing on a business model that was going to be more profitable for the shareholders. So the choice was not only to close Marathon, but there's many other branches throughout Ontario as well as Canada. It's all about the bottom line profit. And like I said, $7.25 billion in profit in 24 is not enough.
There aren't enough of us with a lot of money.
Right. But the funny thing is that when I said to her, like, the money is raised from our services that we use your bank, right? So, but
So we're going to like bigger cities, pretty much?
well, they'll be just leaving us to be like they did with the TD when they closed in 17-18. Then we had to go utilize the Memorial branch in Thunder Bay. So if you're a TD customer, you had to go use that branch. You can go anywhere with TD, but that was your new branch if you're a Marathon customer. So Scotia will do the same thing. They'll identify. I think they did identify the Arthur Street branch as the new branch for the Marathon customers. So, but it's 3 hours away, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is I heard from TD customers over the years is the card, the damaged or lost card. You have to wait, so if you have no access to cash, there's only a machine in the post office or home hardware, you have to go and utilize the machine with no card, you can't do it. So that's the thing that Scotiabank's going to try to work. She was very helpful, so we'll have continuation of conversation with her to discuss that. Councilor Rounds?
it causes a lot more roadblocks too when we look at employment for youth, Indigenous, all of that. With that being said, though, is there, from administration's point of view, any type of concern about attracting industry now, though, a financial institution? Because
Yeah, well, of course, anytime you lose that type of service in our community, right, it makes it less attractive, but it's certainly becoming much more the norm in any small Northern Ontario community where there's not a financial institution. So I don't think it's, necessarily unexpected. I think another area where it is gonna cause some hardship are things like mortgages, right? Where you deal directly with an advisor at the branch. Now you have to deal with somebody over the phone or in Thunder Bay. So, we obviously have our strat planning session tonight, council and senior administration. I've added this to the agenda. So we'll work through some next steps, but, as the mayor indicated, there is no legislation. They are leaving. So we'll have to look at, contingencies on, what can we do to support the community.
Councillor McCoy?
And does that also include the ATMs or is it just the bank?
So the preliminary, no, the ATMs will stay, so the preliminary conversation I had with the regional vice president was to have at least that location continue on and another location like they did with TD, because if one location is shut or down, you have no machine. So they did identify that they would look at opportunities for diversification. So we'll have some discussion with them for sure, what's the best road, but we can't force them or tell them to do anything other than suggest what we're doing. She did talk about having a couple of courses on education around people who are not yet doing online banking, so. That's about.
Any conversation about the banking through Canada Post and stuff like that, and that potentially seeing more of an uptake?
No, I didn't get too much in details whether I was more frustrated with the conversation we had, but because of just the matter of fact, they're closing the branch period. So, as the temperature cooled down, we'll have those discussions going forward and working with the CAO. We'll have an opportunity to put a little bit of a plan together with council to say, can we go out and promote, try to look for another institution coming here, or at least getting the best service available from the departure of Scotia.
Awesome.
Okay. That's Julian.
Just a quick general question about the chamber. Are all meetings public and open or do you have membership?
No, anyone's free to attend.
Okay.
Good. Everybody's good? Good. Thanks. I have a motion here in regards to bylaws. Bylaw number 2111 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of working agreement between the Corporation John Marathon and Canadian Office of Professional Employees Union Local 96. We read it first, second, and third time and finally passed this 27th day of October 2025. Moved by Councillor Vanessa, by Councillor Giuliano. Any questions of that bylaw? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor? Great, thank you. We had information sent in regards to NOMA's spring conference coming up. Mr. Beltry is right on the ball here. He's got that up pretty early.
Very early, but it's helpful for the budget.
Absolutely. So that was one of the discussions we did have, is we're getting that out to some municipalities and see whether or not to get sent. Last year was very successful. We hope to have another successful year. We are moving the venue to the Valhalla. It's better accommodating for NOMA to have more meetings. We're working really hard with the government to try to have more delegation meetings. So even our municipality, we have the opportunity to go to Roma and Amo, but if there's something that pops up in that last minute, you can have the opportunity there. So we're looking at that, and it's more for the smaller communities within NOMA's catchment that don't have the opportunity or budgets to go down to the Roma and Amo conferences annually. So we'll see how that goes, but we just need this motion here for the attendance of individuals approved for the annual Northwest Central Civil Association Normal Conference scheduled for April 22 to 24 in Thunder Bay, Ontario. So we identified that the student council will be able to attend. There is going to be a session on student council. You guys will be asked to speak on a panel. So, you'll work through that preparation, and it's just basically 15-20 minutes and present what you've learned over the year as a municipal councilor, student councilor, and do a little presentation on that, what your likes or dislikes were. Hopefully they're all likes, not dislikes. But yeah, it's going to be a session on student council that'll be there. So we'll put you guys down as that for sure to go, and then you can work through the administration for the arrangements for travel and those other places. So, need a mover seconder for that. Balance and Wheeler, and else will be attending.
I'll attend if no one.
I'll probably go. Well, April's a long way away.
Yeah.
It would seem worthwhile last year for sure.
Okay. We'll put the names down, and then we'll go from there. How's that? Okay. We got Michelle and McCormick. And Mayor Dumas.
And I would add Councillor Lakey traditionally goes.
Okay. Okay, so I got Giuliano, Balance, Michelle, McCormick, Dumas, and Lake. Wheeler? No?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Okay.
And if there's two, like you can drop me a lot, like I can.
Oh, yeah,
post,
sure, yeah, okay. Okay, all good? Okay, thank you. All in favor, yes, everybody's good there. Okay, anything else for the adjournment of this meeting? We have announcements that there'll be a special meeting today at council on October 29th for be obtained to town's official plan. And final property taxes are due October 31st. Quite a few still here, Mr. Verbo?
Yes.
Good. We need people to come in and pay your tax bill. We know we had a bit of a slowdown with the mail strike, but that's all taken care of. So you definitely know you gotta pay your taxes. They're due on October 31st. And you will be penalized a small penalty if you don't come in and pay on or before October 31st. And other than that, have a great Halloween, and there's a couple great fundraising events. Firefighters are doing one, and Barry Campbell is doing this drive with the food, and of course, just be careful out there, make sure that the kids are having fun and they're well protected. Bye. To adjourn at the hour of 4:25, Wheeler and Collins. Thank you very much. Have a good night.